Just let me know when you start. All right. Hi, everybody. This is Royal here with another fun stream. We're doing a panel with a bunch of non-hero creators, some of who you guys might know. Um, I don't really, there's not really much to say. But yeah, let's just really just get into it because I really have
I
no
have
intro
uploaded
here.
a video on Hero Fiendsmith, so I'm somewhat of a hero creator myself.
True, true. All right. I took a lot of inspiration, as you can tell, from Omni's panel because I think his was the easiest. Like it was very streamlined. But yeah, let's start off introducing ourselves for people who may not be familiar with us. Um, I'm Royal. I am like the main mod here, and I set up all these streams. Um, in terms of like what got me into Yu-Gi-Oh, I think like most people, I watched the original Duel Monsters anime, and I was like, "Yo, this is kind of cool." And there's a card game for it, so I wanted to play that. And yeah, just playing like playground Yu-Gi-Oh, where you there was no actual strict set rules. Um, my favorite deck in the game, uh, since basically its introduction into the game, is Lunalight. It's my favorite deck. It's been my favorite deck since because it's a very versatile deck with a lot of cool design concepts. And it reminded me of another deck that I used to play that I'll mention later on, but with a little bit more modern tools. My favorite monster in the game is Luna Liger Dancer because she's just the best. And my favorite summoning mechanic is fusions. I've just always loved fusion summoning. Um, and then I, and then like followed by like Xyz summoning. I think that's like my second favorite. As for like which formats do I play? I do TCG, OCG, and Master Duel. I only play OCG when I play MD Pro. If not for MD Pro, I would only strictly play TCG and Master Duel. And my favorite of the three is TCG because it's the only one that has any semblance of balance. Um, but with me out of the way, I think we can do it like in the order that I set it up. So Zanza, if you want to go next.
All right. Um, Hello everyone. My name is my name is Anza. I play mainly Galaxy, both Photon and Tachyon. They're two separate decks, but most of them use like the same cards. But what got me into Yu-Gi-Oh was, the show. I was very on and off about it. I didn't really watch any series to its full until like 2016. It was X, and that's how I really got into. But my favorite, well, my favorite monster out of it would be in more recent times C62, which happens Neo Galaxy Prime Photon Drive. But for my favorite mechanic is obviously Xyz summoning, but behind that would be Pendulum because it's like summoning a bunch of guys all at once. But for formats that I do play, obviously Master and TCG, which is more like mainline for since it's more local. But I do plan on actually playing in person because if you saw most of my recent stuff, I got the cards for. But the decks aren't fully completed yet. I'm still working on. That's about it for me.
All right, I guess it's my turn. So my name is Taru, and I mainly play DDD. Although when I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh, it wasn't really my favorite deck. When I started Yu-Gi-Oh, it was around 2014. Somebody that I know told me that this game that I play has people play, has people playing it in real life, which I didn't know about. I pretty much like everybody else. I watched the show when I was a kid. Not just that, I also watched Duel Masters. If some of you know that. That show is cool, and it wasn't like in 2014. I saw that there's a new show coming around, which was ArcV, and that's pretty much when I started playing TCG. And I saw Reggie play the deck, and from the point where I saw him play it, I saw that I pretty much said that was gonna be my deck. And at the time, the things that that deck did was unique to it. Modern, in today's Yu-Gi-Oh, everybody can do what DDD does, which is use all the summoning mechanics. But at the time, it was very unique. So that's pretty much what drew me into it. So that's pretty much how I got into Yu-Gi-Oh. My favorite deck is obviously DDD, and my favorite card in it would be Lamia, because I have a soft spot for Synchro DDD, because like it was like the most fun version of the deck, and in that deck you summon Lamia like 10 times in a turn because she was the main tuner. My favorite summoning mechanic would have to be Synchro, because let's be honest, 5D is the best show, and Synchro is like, in my opinion, is like the most busted mechanic after Links, of course. But yeah, what else? What format do I play? I used to be like I used to play like TCG mainly for like 10 years, but around 2024 I quit because I accepted that my deck was not gonna get support. But lo and behold, in the end, it did get support. So recently, I am starting to get back to it, and pretty much after Dude releases, I am gonna return to playing TCG full time. So that's pretty much it for me.
Then now it's my turn. I'm Def Echo. I'm mostly a synchron content creator, but lately I'm uploading a lot of Centurion, and I basically do a lot of stuff. As mentioned before, I uploaded Hero Fiendsmith deck, but basically everything that is somewhat appealing to me, I'm trying to cook a bit. The videos are mostly about guides or some stuff like that. And I basically got into Yu-Gi-Oh! Like everyone else through the show, played at the playground, some friends. Then I dropped it for some years. I think like I didn't play it till Duel Links came out. Then I played Duel Links for a few years, until Master Duel has dropped. The soft spot for Synchrons has started already in Duel Links, like with the skills like summoning the Shooting Star Dragon. It was like a lot of fun. And a lot of archetypes that were there that I play now had started off in Duel Links. Like I'm also enjoying playing DDDs. Then Master Duel has dropped in 2022. And then I've started out with Master Duel. Then a friend of mine was like, "Hey, yo, you're playing Master Duel. Let's start TCG." It took like 1 year till I agreed. Yeah, okay. I was like, "Nah, man, it's expensive. I don't want to waste like 200 euros on a deck that will get nerfed." But then I was like, "Yeah, okay. Synchrons get reprints. I will build my Synchron deck." And funnily enough, after I was finished with it, 1 month later, a very important card for Synchrons was banned. Original Sin for Spells. Then I was pissed. Like, I don't know. It felt just awkward. Yeah, my favorite deck is definitely Synchrons, but like Centurions, DDD, I will definitely buy the next display for Dooms of Dimension, because I really want to play DDDs there. I want to build a Rose Ring deck. Yeah, my favorite summoning mechanic is, as you thought, Synchro summoning. And probably my least favorite summoning mechanic is 6Ds. Because it just feels like cheating. You overlay and overlay and overlay, it's just basically all fake link ones. And yeah, that's basically it from my part.
All right. First of all, Xyz is a cool summoning mechanic. Lynx is the cancer summoning mechanic, but we don't gotta go there. All right. So since we're talking about the anime, um, just thought it'd be easy to talk about like our experience with it. I guess we can sort of like go in the backwards order. So Death Echo, if you want to start this, and then Taro, Zanza, and then me last.
Oh yeah, okay, then I start now. I've watched basically all the animes except Zexel and Brains. I don't know. There were when I looked at, I wanted to watch Brains, but there wasn't any real localization for it, and I kind of usually watch it at my second screen. So yeah. Probably my favorite anime was 5Ds. Like the story is mature, the characters are very cool. Like you say, actually the only protagonist who never dropped a game except Playmaker. Um, then probably my second favorite show is GX with Heroes. Um, Heroes was like my last Destiny Heroes were like my last playground deck that I before my stop with Yu-Gi-Oh. But so for the second questions, yeah, the anime definitely influenced me in my deck picking. Like I started to play Synchronous after I rewatched 5Ds and was like, this looks like a lot of fun. I want to summon Stardust Dragon. And yeah, like I said before, you say Jack Atlas, like my like two favorite characters in Yu-Gi-Oh anime. They like don't sometimes they don't give a shit. They just dueling, have actually smart people. Okay, maybe Jack Atlas isn't that smart, but like I think you got the idea behind you say. And probably the favorite moment was when Yusei Samen shooting Star Dragon when the Clear Mind song started playing. It was like a lot of hype, and then at the end when he was summoning shooting Quasar Dragon. Yeah, that's basically for my part.
So the anime did influence what I pick as decks. Like my first deck was like Junk Doppel, which is known today as Synchrons, and I picked that up because when I finished 5Ds, I said, I mean, this deck is fire. I mean, I was like using Morphotronic Quasars because of it. I was using Lavalval Quasar because of it. Like,
Yeah.
it was like every deck that I picked up was because of the anime. And then ArcV came around and I saw Reggie play it. And specifically, at the first time he dueled Yuya, that's pretty much like I saw him like fuse Synchro in season 1 turn. And, I just said at that time, like, that deck is going to be mine. I don't care what happens. I don't care if it's bad or good. That deck is going to be mine. So I did watch the Yu-Gi-Oh shows. I pretty much watched all of them, even sevens, because I want to give it a try. But you should not watch that. It's pretty bad. And my favorite show would have to be 5Ds. I mean, it's tied between 5Ds or DM, but I like 5Ds more. The other shows are not that bad. I like Zexel, not the first part, the second part. The GX was like slow at the start, but like pretty much at like season 3, it became like very good. And my favorite protagonist would have to be Yusei or Yugi. It's really tied between DM and 5Ds, but it's mostly gonna be Yusei. And my favorite moment from the show was it was like pretty much the Quasar moment when Yusei summoned Quasar, but I also like the moment where Kite died on the moon. That duel was so good. Like that duel actually went so hard. So I actually like that moment a lot. So, and that's pretty much it for me.
All right. The anime did influence me, but it really wasn't like until a lot later. Well, because I forgot to mention this earlier in our introduction, was I was still new to Yu-Gi-Oh, so my first deck ever was Dear Gaia. One of my friends in high school gave me a copy of Galaxy, put in my deck for, even though it didn't make sense at the time, and that's what got me attached. And so I looked where it showed up in the anime at all, and it did with Zexal, and which Zexal is my second favorite of 5Ds at first. And for my favorite protagonist will have to be like Yusei, but Jaden isn't that far behind. But my favorite characters is obviously Kite and Mizar, because they were like the best characters in that series. With Kite actually going, would have been undefeated if he didn't get blackmailed in the first in World Duel Carnival. And my favorite moment will have to be will be Quasar. You say summoning Quasar, but also the Moon Duel, because that was like one of the best things to happen.
All right, I guess it's my turn then. Unfortunately, I will continue the Yusei glazing because Yusei is my favorite protagonist, and
I
5Ds.
understand.
And 5Ds is my favorite series, with GX right behind it. For me, I do also really like Jaden. And after Yusei and Jaden, at least for me, there's like a significant drop off between the protagonists. I watched pretty much every Yu-Gi-Oh anime until Vrains. I never watched Sevens or Go Rush. I just stopped intaking anime as a whole probably around that time. Um, did the anime influence me in picking up my favorite deck? I would say so, while also saying that Arc V is my least favorite of the Yu-Gi-Oh animes, because I think it's the one with the most potential and the one that does the worst with it. But yeah, I watched the duel between Serena, who is the girl who plays Lunalight in the show, versus Yuga. Yeah, Yugo, who plays Speedroid. And when she summoned Leo Dancer, I was like, oh, it's time to fully lock in being a furry, but not really. Um, my favorite moments from the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, I have two. Um, my first one comes from 5Ds, which is actually not one that any of these guys spoke about, but it's like when you say Jack and Crow are versus the team that played like the Nordic gods, and Yusei is about to get like the slowest FTK ever, and he just turns it around like one with like two trap cards, and like the guy banishes like all of his monsters to deal damage, but since they have like zero attack or something, they don't do any damage to him, and then he attacks directly with shooting star dragon for game. I thought that was cool. But like my OG favorite moment was the graduation duel between not the it was the first graduation duel with Zane and Jaden, when Jaden and
Oh yeah,
Zane
this was
used like
fire.
the same. Yeah, when Jaden and Zane used the same card to end the game in a draw, I was like, why are these monsters attacks like in the 5 digits, bro? And Jaden, before 5Ds, Jaden was my favorite protagonist. I didn't really like Yugi like that. I was always like more of a Joey guy. Um,
Yeah.
but Jaden inspired me to play Hero, and Yusei also inspired me to play Synchron. Um, and I didn't move from those two decks until much later on, which is when I saw the Arc V anime and saw Lunalight. So yeah.
One moment I forgot to talk about was in the Arc V anime, uh, with tech duel against the Arc, where especially the moment when Deckton came up and started dueling basically 101, and almost beat the shit out of him.
Bro, like he could have soloed that duel, but like they did him wrong
Yeah. Yeah.
in the later
Yeah.
halves. I mean, look, ArcV like post like the 53 episode, like it was downhill. Like that show could have been the best Yu-Gi-Oh show ever, but they ruined it.
They did all our
Yeah,
characters
a
wrong. Let's
lot
be
of
real.
potential. Like
Yeah.
Jack was the
Yeah.
appearing of Jack was so peak.
That is not Kite without Orbital 7. I'm being real.
Yeah, and like they had a lot of potential. The characters were cool. Maybe some less, some more, but overall it had a lot of potential.
The biggest.
I mean,
like,
you can even see
pro-
it. You can even. You can go.
No, I was gonna say the biggest pro of ArcV is all the cool decks it dropped because there's so many cool decks from that anime. But yeah, they did most of the characters dirty, original ones and like the ones that they brought back.
I was about to bring that up actually because like you can even look at like the impact on the real game. I mean, a lot of today's decks. I mean, a lot of the ArcV decks like people still talk about today. I mean, people recently are talking about like Phantom Knights and if they could like get future support, or like Frightful. Like there's a lot of cool decks in ArcV that people still talk about to this day. Like the show had so much. It had cool characters. The setting was cool. The decks were cool. Everything about it like was so good. It had a good start, but then they ruined it. I mean, I really don't know what happened, but like everything went to shit. Like even the animation, everything about it went to shit. Some people, I remember at the time, some people blamed it on like the DM movie that was coming out around that time, but I personally don't believe in that. I think like they just rushed it. Maybe if they had more time, the story would have turned out different, but it was just wasted potential.
Yeah, after the Synchro arc was everything like meh. Like
Yeah, genuine.
every character reintroduced from GX was they did basically nothing. Esther Phoenix was like cool to see, then he lost basically every duel. Alexis was cool to see, then she lost again every duel that she appeared on.
And the worst person that got it rough is Aster. They made that dude weak. He pretty much like I don't even think he won one duel.
Yeah, it's like nothing like his appearance in GX. He beat the shit out of Jaden that he even flew to another planet to get another deck. Like, what the fuck? That's so cool.
I will say they kind of did Kite a little bit of justice because he did the 2v1 like OTK on the super heavy player and the Abyss Actor player, and they're like, "Oh, we're just gonna win on the next turn," and they're like, "Nah, bro."
He was
You're
like, there
dying.
is no next turn.
There is no next turn, bro.
Yeah, that was pretty
And
cool.
and some of Kite's like iconic like gifs and memes are from ArcV. He's like the only guy who actually got a little bit of respect, but he's also playing the worst like sub archetype of his deck. Ciphers are fucking terrible.
Except for the extra deck. That's actually, they're okay. At best.
All right. So let's go further into like the decks that we play. I think Taro should go first because his deck is actually the one that's getting support soon. So yeah.
So the game plan is pretty much like, I mean, look, DD is always known as like this deck that makes unbreakable boards. That's how it's always been. So you don't really want this deck to start. So the game plan is like to pretty much like make these unbreakable boards and win. There are times where you are gonna play the grind game and all, but that's a long story. And there are different ways to play DDD, or has been throughout the years. Like for example, the origin of DDD is a beatdown deck. This was pre Lamia and pre Siegfried, before the structure deck. It was like a fusion deck that summoned these fusions, and you had these trap constructs that you could set, like Dark Contract with a Witch, which is a Raigeki break. You had Errors, which is pretty much a Royal Decree. It was like pretty much like a beatdown deck. But once we got the structure deck, it became a synchro spam deck. And that was around the time where the deck was actually meta. In the OCG, it was a tier 1 deck. And in the TCG, it was supposed to be the same. But Konami delayed the release of the Pendulum Domination structure deck. So the TCG player base pretty much got screwed. And I remember that was one of the reasons why I quit the game at the time. Now for the second question, when was the last time your deck received support? So obviously, you know, DD recently got support with Dude, and everybody's been talking about it. Currently, right now, there's some clickbait in the TCG side because some people are saying that, you know, it's gonna be a good deck. Some people are saying it's overhyped. Some people are saying, you know, this deck is gonna be bad. So you should be careful on what you see when it comes to the deck right now. The deck recently got the support and it's been topping in the OCG, so it's actually showing results. And it's probably going to show results for TCG as well. So the support, it's pretty good. What cards would my deck... So the cards that I would need for a DD to be better is something that makes it better going second, because and this is an issue that still has not been fixed. So over the years, the biggest problem is that it sucks going second, because this is pretty much like a deck that you always want to start with. So if Konami wants to like release more support in the future, I would like more going second cards, because I feel like if they fix the going second issues, DDD might actually become meta again. But until then, it's gonna be like a decent rogue strategy. Why should someone play your favorite deck? Well, there's really nothing I can say like to convince anybody to play this deck. I can just recommend it. From past experiences, I can tell you that this deck has the potential. It always had potential, because this is one of those decks where if you give them playable cards, it can do damage. We've seen this happen when they released the structure deck, the Pendulum Domination structure, when that pretty much made the deck a tier 1 deck. And we saw it happen with Bosch, Battle of Chaos, when they pretty much gave the deck 4 cards. And Dude, we've gotten a better quality cards. So it's gonna be the recent ban list. They're pretty much like paving the way for DD to do well in the format. And I think that if you're looking for like a good Pendulum deck right now to pick up, I think this is gonna be like your best option. It's not really beginner friendly, and it is hard to pilot right now, so it's gonna take you time to like get accustomed to it. But I would definitely recommend DDD right now. The best places or resources to learn about DDD would have to be the DDD Discord. Obviously, you know, you could always like DM me or ask me. I do have a lot of people that do that, but the DDD Discord is something that I always recommend. It's pretty much like the safe haven for like every DDD player in the world. It's active. Everything that you need to know about the deck is there. You know, new developments, new combos, new ways to play around hand traps. And the people there are nice. I mean, they can be weird at times, but they do help you. So I would definitely recommend joining the DDD Discord if you want to stay in touch with the recent developments of the deck. And that's pretty much it.
Who wants to
I
go
guess
next?
I'll go
Oh.
next.
Okay.
So the game plan of Lunalight currently is to essentially make an archetypal towers and protect said archetypal towers. Sometimes make 2 of them, and protect them, and OTK on the crackback. Previous to it getting support, it was much more fluid in the different types of engines that it could play, which I typically try to highlight within my videos. So pre-support, you could play Lunalights with Raid Raptor, Lightsworn, Utopia, Orchist, what else? Cry Brigade. Just by using like a very small or large like Lunalight package. the last time my deck received support was not too long ago with the 5 cards that I got in Duelist Advance. The deck had already had like a very good core, like a foundation. So it just needed like cards that allowed it to go first. Because previously, if you played the deck pure, it was basically blind second or bust. It didn't end on anything if you went first, unless added like those tier cards or those Raid Raptor cards. Um, to be honest, I don't think there's any specific cards that the deck would need to be better because I think it's one of the best decks there are currently, which I never thought I'd be able to say after its time being meta during TOS format when it was used with Orchist. But I would say if there was a card that I'd want for the deck, I would want something that worked similarly to A Hero Lives for the deck, whether it be archetypal or not. I just think getting like free advantage like that for the body is just so nice. And I think I've always liked the like the easy concept of like A Hero Lives, or what's the Unexpected Die, which is like the thing that they use in Rika to summon like the normal monsters. I always thought those cards were just like so nice to have because it's just an easy special summon from the deck at like a minimal cost. Why should somebody play my deck? Because it's the best deck, of course. But no, I think there's like a lot of fluidity in terms of builds. It's very rewarding if you actually like master the different sort of concepts and lines that you can do. Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's a fun deck, and it's a good deck, which like for a lot of anime decks, that's not a lot of that's not something a lot of them can say. And then like, the best places and resources to learn about Lunarlight, I'd probably would say it's the Lunarlight Discord server, which isn't as big as like say like the DDD server or like the Hero server, but there's definitely a lot of like dedicated players there. I also make content on the deck, of course, so you can either ask me or watch any of my videos, and it'll be a good starting point to learning about the deck. But yeah.
I'll
Okay.
go next.
Okay.
Unless you want to go, Echo.
No, it's fine. Don't worry.
My game plan is, well, we're on OTK deck first and foremost. We're also pretty good going for setting up pretty strong boards because our counter trap is like probably the best counter trap in the game. Since it's also not once per turn, and it's also a hand trap. But going first is that you set up 107. Well, if you're playing Tachyon, you set up 107, and just be backed up by like maybe 2 or 3 Transmigration plus Hope Harbinger. But for Photon, you're setting up that plus Photon Lord and your Link Monster plus 38, along with just being untargetable if you're both rank 4s. Which probably you have seen it already in Ryzeo because it's being used over there. But going second is a little bit harder, but not like it's really just hand dependent. Because we're tacking on. If you're playing the rank up magic tech, is often C107 presence is like very strong, and if they try to if you try to activate the effect and they try to interrupt you, and you have Transmigration, that's often like game winning right there because it just turns off everything. But when was the last time we received support? Was last year with Maze with Master, and even before that, the main set Photon Hypernova. But how good it was actually pretty good for both types. As it went to the wayside real fast. I mean, it's decent, but not the best. As for what cards it will need to be better, for Photon, I would think it will need to like operate like Automats does nowadays, where a bunch of Yuma's cards got retrained. So I think the same could work for Kite's old Photon card. And as for the Techie, We'll need more ways to like summon out monsters and just relying on Safer and Swords, because those are like big stopping points. And then you really have no other ways to summon stuff after. So, why should someone play my... Well, because it's just really just cool big boss monsters. All of them are... You're not really using any like the generic stuff. All of them is like pretty unique. And Tachyon is more like simple. Photon is more like you can go any different direction on your board pieces or your combo stuff. And on pretty same boards most of the time, like there really is no different. But as for the best places and resources, I can confidently say there is a website if you ever need that. There's also the Galaxy, Eternal Galaxy server if you ever need help there. You can also come to me if you need it. And there's also my YouTube channel.
I don't know if you don't use generic cards. I see Photon Lord and Hope Harbinger in a lot of decks that ain't yours.
Have you read? Have you read the very first line of Photon Lore?
That doesn't matter to me.
Yes,
It's
it
generic.
does.
It's generic.
Unfortunately, it has.
Okay, so it's now my time to talk about Synchrons, and yeah, it's kind of awkward because the different ban lists between the different formats are fucking the deck over a bit. TCG plays it incredibly, will play it differently than Master Duel or OCG. But the main game plan remains still the same. Resolve Chunk Speeder. If you resolve him, you win the game because you can do absolutely anything. You can FTK, you can make an absurd anime board with 6 boss monsters. You can hand loop for 5. The problem is resolving Chunk Speeder. It's like he has like the biggest cross on his back, and people will always save their hand traps for him. It's easier to do. It's easier to protect him through in OCG and MD, because we have stuff like Diabellstar with original Sinful Spoils. Basically, she's basically half a Stardust Dragon with another card on the field, like on your mark, ready, set, go. She's basically a 1.5 card combo for protected Chunk Speeder. But that's like not the case for TCG. And Synchrons have quite a bit of ways to play them. Like the sister archetype Stardust. Stardust Synchron is like a big playmaker on its own. He can generate resources with Arrive and Light, then Converging with Dragon and Brotar. And that's like another playstyle Synchrons got through the years, especially since the release of the Bestials. It's basically very similar. You establish a big, almost unbreakable board, but yeah. And you have, of course, access to non-synchro monsters like Heavenly Spheres, and the Ancients and Convisit like the Chaos Baby Dragons. And when was the last time my deck got support? And how good was it for the archetype? That's a very interesting question, because we are about to get support with the new structure deck, but structure deck is incredibly bad. The 8 new revealed cards are like maybe playable in TCG, but I would assume any other format will not play them, or like 1 or 2 cards. Like Full Speed Warrior is like a worse Stratos. He just searches. He doesn't have something like a Hero Lives. He has to be normal summoned. He gets to Chunk Speeder, but of course he doesn't protect him. Then what's the name of the spell card? Synchro Fellows. it's like an incredibly bait card because Synchron players wanted to get away from this normal summon junk Synchron, go into junk speeder. And now we are basically forced on it again if we want to play the new support. Scrap Synchron is like the new guy in the family. He is okay, more on the bad side. He has to compete with Jet Synchron, which is a very good Synchron card, but he is better in formats where the ability is legal, of course, and the rest isn't really worth talking about. TCG will probably play it with stuff like K9. Yeah, K9 is accessible now because lefty and righty drivers are part of the combo. They can access the new Synchro guy, Scrap Warrior. You can basically achieve a similar board which you would get with resolving Junk Speeder, but of course you're Xyz locked. You aren't Xyz locked, but you can't you will not summon Junk Speeder because his lock is his Synchro lock is for the entire turn. And Scrap Warrior generates enough resources by cycling Acel Synchron with some other stuff like Martial Match Marcher. So what type of cards would Synchrons need to be better? They would need something like a Pseudo Link 1, like Dark Magician Gotham. Like do stuff, normal summon a Synchron, do a Pseudo Synchro summon, or a Link summon that is treated as a Synchro summon, so Junk Speeder is still alive. This would solve the problems that every Synchro name is incredibly bad to draw. You can do anything with them on its own, except now with Stardust Synchron. But it's like an unprotected Junk Speeder at best. And this would kind of solve the problem that you actually would want to play Synchrons. You would want to max them out. Like if the Link reborns is treated as a non-tuner and reborns the Synchron, okay, that's an unprotected Junk Speeder still, but it just helps the deck to fix the inherent problems the deck have. Why should someone play my favorite deck? In Master Duel, is like Mexi is like a very big problem for a lot of decks, and people are usually trying to find lines how to survive under Mexi. What's the best board you get for the least draws? But Synchrons can go complete over the top, and basically decking your opponent completely out. And with stuff like Hyper Librarian, you basically contest the draws of Mexi. And you essentially could draw in stuff like card destruction that makes it even easier. For TCG, it's kinda, I wouldn't really recommend it till people have actually figured it out, like what's the best version of the deck now. Like Mitsurugi is something that people potentially could play. Like I saw 037 Wolf coping a bit on Neo Space Connector with Aqua Dolphin, and yeah, stuff like that. The deck is like too new, too bad, quote unquote, and it's kind of hard to solve this issue. But for Master Duel and OCG, you have stuff like White Forest, Sylphie. The White Forest field spell is like a true 1-card combo for Junk Speeder that is protected, then that can do stuff. That could be supported by stuff like Tenpai. I know Tenpai, a bit cringe, but it's basically just an ancient fairy dragon engine that gets you to the White Forest part, and then from there you can go with Junk Speeder. So the best resources to learn about the deck for Master Duel, I would probably recommend Dueling Book Synchron's channel. He's like speedrunning to Master 1 every season. He's like, in the first 5 days he's already Master 1 with Synchrons, which is kind of incredible, because I'm trying to play Synchrons, then I'm getting annoyed that I lose in coin flips, and I don't want to play Synchrons anymore. But this guy goes completely forward. His deck is a bit unconventional, but it works. And for TCG, probably the best source is the Discord of 037 Wolf. People are actively cooking there. Sometimes they're nice, sometimes not so. Like every TCG community, people there are quite mixed, especially if you are coming from Master Duel background. They are sometimes a bit on the elitist side, but overall they are also nice people. Yeah, and that's about for Synchron's.
All right, let's talk about our decks versus meta decks. And I guess I can start. Because obviously, a big thing with like a lot of anime decks in general is that they tend to be underpowered or undercooked. Um, so it can be a struggle if you want to play them versus the meta. Uh, Fortunately for me, for the first question, my deck is actually very good into the current meta. At least if we're talking like TCG, OCG, especially TCG now because of the absolute massive hits that they did yesterday to like Vanquish Soul, which was like the deck's hardest matchup. And I don't really think anybody here can say otherwise that like that's probably like the worst matchup that most people can have. Either that or Yummy, but I think like the Vanquish Soul end board, like when it was full power, is like the worst thing you could see. As you could tell from like if you watch the Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship, games 1 and 3, uh, the Lunalight player, like just had to sit there and watch him full combo, and in game 3 specifically, like near the end of his turn, he had basically searched every single card in his hand, so he literally just spread out all 5 cards in his hand, and it was like, yeah, like if you can beat this board, sure. I personally don't think that that game was winnable. And then he draws off of the Borger. He draws Droll, which makes the game even worse now. I don't think Droll actually determined the matchup, but it was basically like saying, hey, yeah, like any attempt that you could have made to breaking the board, I'm not gonna allow you to have. So I don't know. It was just depressing to watch. I didn't watch like the MD World Championships, but I think people were saying like Maxi pretty much won the finals in itself, which you know, it's a format with Maxi. It's always going to be anticlimactic at some point. The best format to play the deck is just essentially TCG. No hits to the deck at all, no hits to any of the generic pieces that the deck has. I would say you can play it comfortably in OCG as well. Master Duel, I would not play the deck in Master Duel. It's a terrible format for it. It's a terrible format in general. Like people here have probably played into Ryziel and Malice a bunch of times previously. You don't want to do it again, especially since again, Lunalights, if you're playing it pure, it's a blind second OTK deck. Like even you don't I wouldn't even play Tenpai at that point. Malice is just absolutely disgusting to deal with, like at full power, and it has like minimal hits at best. I don't remember.
It is not.
Yeah, like it's terrible to play that format. And Ryziel also checks it because Ryziel checks any deck that needs to resolve continuous spells, field spells, or penned monsters. As for my favorite experience playing the deck, oh no, go ahead. You got something to say?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think Master Rule is like Malice, like the strongest version of Malice that ever existed. Like they have all the alliance,
You're lagging.
yeah, alliance inside stuff with
Wait, yeah,
support.
you're lagging.
Loose. Oh, sorry, I don't know what's. Okay. second. Maybe Steam's acting up good.
All right.
Sorry. No, posting, but I don't know, stopping bronze man right now. Okay.
I think you might have
I don't know.
to. I think you might have to disconnect and then reconnect.
Okay, right.
As for my favorite experience playing the deck, I think it's if we're talking pre-support, okay. Let me not say I enjoyed tier meta because tier full power in any format is awful, and I say this as someone that admittedly likes tier, but I don't enjoy tier nearly enough to justify playing it in itself. But my reasoning for like pre-support is that the main starter for Lunalight's Kaleido Chick, when it's banished, it works similarly to the Transcendent Dragon from Tenpai, where it shuts down all effects during the battle phase, and then all you had to do was somehow go through all like the tier disruption, put up the Leo Dancer, crash it into like any monster on the tier board. You nuke their board, and none of the tier effects are able to resolve because they're shut down. And then you just OTK them, and you just watch the tier player cry. Post support, I would probably just say summoning, like double summoning, like the two Ligers is always fun. Like, it's not something I recommend doing because I think it absolutely kills your entire follow-up, but just being able to end on two quick effect Raigekis is just super cool. Even if it is kind of backed up by cringe stuff like Baguska, but Baguska's my goat, so I'll take that.
I guess I can go next. So the first question is, I'm gonna break it down. So currently, DDD is placed in a good, it's like in a good spot right now, because the ban list just came out for TCG, and pretty much like what the ban list is saying is that we are pretty much paving the way for like DDD to do decent, because Ryzeal got hit, and if you know anything about Ryzeal versus DDD, is that the matchup is super bad. No matter what you do, you make the full board, they are still gonna crack it. But now since Ryzeal is hit, it's actually doable to beat that without having to use floodgates. So in terms of other decks, DDD like the first on board, it can beat like any current deck right now. It can beat Yami, it can beat Draco Tail, it can beat Vanquish Soul. Although Vanquish Soul is the worst matchup, you don't really want to play that matchup. But now, post the list, it's. I mean, some people are saying the deck is bad now, but I don't think it is. It is less consistent and it is bricky, but it's still a deck you're gonna see, and it's still gonna be a tough matchup. But it's winnable if you start. Yami is pretty much like a dice roll matchup. Like if they start, it's gonna be hard to break their board. But if you start, they're not really gonna break your board. Against Draco Tail, some people, a lot of people actually, don't really give respect to Draco Tail because they actually think it's free. And, to some extent it is free, but it's actually, another matchup with DDD. I mean, you have to respect it to some extent because they have cards that play during your turn, and DDD is not a deck that you would want somebody to play during your turn. It's not really good. It did not work out in tier format, and it's not going to work out now. So it is beneficial that they don't play during your turn. So it's actually, you actually have to give a little bit of respect to that matchup. And it's in a good spot right now because previously people would say that, oh, well, we should ban Caesar and all of that. But now nobody's talking about Caesar. So you have a good deck right now that's situated to be like a good rogue deck for the future. So it's not really gonna like get hit by the list. So we have a cheap rogue deck that's gonna be good. Caesar is not, being on anybody's mind right now. So I'd say that DD right now is in a good spot. I don't know if that's gonna like continue for like more than 2 months, but right now it's actually good and it's cheap, and I would recommend it. Now for the second question, the best format for this deck was when it was meta, obviously, but right now I would say like it's the best that's ever been. So if it's like right now is the time, like if you're gonna play the deck, it's right now because it's situated in a good place. It's not gonna get hit by the ban list. We've just gotten custom support, and like it has every tool in the archetype to beat pretty much any deck in the game. It has floodgates that it can search. It has stuff for like back row. It has stun. It has stuff for like stun. It has options for like pretty much anything like rogue, niche. It can like beat anything. And the favorite experience of playing the deck personally was when Synchro DD was a thing. I know, I've talked about this version a lot of times, but like you just had to be there. Like the deck was so good. It was so much fun. Like you could you could like Lamty lock the opponent. You could Satellite Warrior during their turn. You can like Omega loop them. You can do a lot of stuff. Pretty much like any time a level 8 Synchro came out, it was like pretty much a new toy for the deck. Anytime a new tuner that was level 2 or 3 came out, it was pretty much like a Hulk target. So I'd say that the best experience, in my personal opinion, was when Synchro DD was a thing. But right now, I'd say that if you are gonna pick up the deck or if you're interested, I'd say that if you're gonna like right now is the time to actually have a good experience with the deck because the new cards make it so that this deck can actually do well against hand traps. In fact, most of the hand traps that used to kill this deck don't do it anymore. So now you have to have like 1 or 2 or 3 hand traps to stop the deck because the push is so strong. Like Joel used to kill this deck, but now Joel is like the best card in the deck because it's pretty much your answer to Foa. So personally, my experience with the deck is that I had the best time when I was playing Synchro DD, but I feel like in the future I'm gonna have a lot of fun playing Duo DD, and I feel like anybody that's gonna pick up the deck right now is also gonna have a decent experience with the deck, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, then I suppose I'm going then next. Currently in the Synchrons will probably not perform well in the current CG meta. Because they are lacking a lot of tools. Like I said, Original Synthful Spoils is banned. Their support is mediocre at best. Like it's like support would be okay at 2018 or something like that. But yeah, it's basically just a for fun deck at this point. Of course, it can do some stuff. Junk Speeder is still a degenerate card. It can facilitate a lot of dumb stuff, but it's not near at the level that it used to be. Like around Duelist Nexus, this was closer to the power of the element stuff. It was like at this time it was like Heroic with the adventure stuff. Like facilitating your speeder with either unaffected with Synchro Overtake, Jet Synchron, like that, or Baron with Revolution Synchron. Everything just worked back then, but now it's too slow. The game revolves around 2-card combos, and Synchrons are essentially a deck that is a 2-card combo deck at some degree. This is basically the reason you don't want to see Synchrons in your hand. Still, you probably will have the best experience playing Synchrons right now in the OCG because a lot of stuff is legal back then. I tried playing Synchrons on MD Pro. It felt actually great. It was like a few weeks ago. With Dracotail against K9, it felt playable. You had a lot of options. Like the 10-5 and White Forest, of course, provided a lot of pressure. Synchrons not so, but were decent extenders. Also, a huge benefit to Synchrons is that it can deck out Maxi, and it feels incredible to do so. Like, what's the people are just throwing like 10 hand traps at you, and you just play through them like it's nothing. Except if the hand trap is rolled, then you are kind of fucked, because yeah. And yeah, that's basically my favorite experience with the deck, decking people out when they throw Mixie at you. It's still, and you still kind of can pick it up in Master Duel. You will have moderate success, but you have to put some time into it to understand how you protect your speeder, or how you delay, or how you interact with your opponent. It's basically the same for every rogue deck, but Synchron essentially play the game before you resolve Junk Speeder, because after that it's just free. So yeah, that's basically for my Synchron talk for the metas, for the meta part.
Alright, so both decks right now, Photon is on. Well, it is kind of more testing is required, but I am trying to do Photon K9 because Galaxy Soldier just happens to be a level 5. I'm doing that. But it probably is like the strongest right now. But more testing is required on my end. But as for Tachyon, it's also like more on the weaker for meta decks. But in the Vanquish Soul matchup, because you have cards like Cypher Dragon, and which can actually steal a Vanquish Soul monster if they don't, provided they don't like tag out. If they try to like interrupt you on turn 0, which you could take one of their monsters and then you can overlay into Cypher X, or since Rosin's a level 4, you can also like make another rank 4 if you're able to get that far, that is. Or Holly Sue. Really just depends on like what happens to you on that turn 1. But with Tachyon is also like pretty strong into Draco Tail, even if you got your board set up. Since I actually let Draco Tail fuse, and then I would chain Transmigration, because they often like get to a Chain Link 3, because they often use the fusion. Their fusion materials often have like effects when they're used. So that basically is like a Chain Link 3 interruption right there, which not many decks can really do to stop them. As for Yummy match, it's really, I'm still like uncertain in that area, but I'm pretty sure it's not gonna go that well. But as for, I mean, you'll probably like manage, but it's not gonna go that well. But what is the best format? Now, probably TCG, because you can also try Mitsurugi Tachyon, which I'm also gonna do in the future. It probably is next to Photon K9, is probably like the strongest variant. Since Mitsu will actually like bait out will do everything to interrupt or get stuff out, and then you just go into the Tachyon line. Yeah, but TCG is probably the best format ever. And favorite experience will actually be during the little stint Super Heavy Samurai was meta, because you'll just pass on C62, and then you'll have Galaxy 100 just banishing the Moon, or Goddess of the Underworld, and then you'll just have him sit there while the Super Heavy Samurai like struggles to out C62. Will be it.
At least you had fun during Super Heavy Samurai meta. I hate that deck.
No, I get it. It's just I pass on him, and then what do they just do about it?
Right. Deck alternatives. I mean, this one should be easy enough. I can start, because like besides Lunalight, do I play any additional decks? If so, which ones? I only play one other deck, and that is White Forest. When they announced White Forest in the OCG, which they come in an Infinite Forbidden, like the original, yeah, I think it was an Infinite Forbidden, for their first wave. I don't know. I just clicked with the archetype. I really like the designs. I didn't really care that it was a lore deck. I just thought like it was fair, but had a lot of playmaking tools. And I've played it since then, and it's easily my second favorite deck in the game. by far. So if I'm not playing Lunalight, I'm usually playing White Forest, which is why you will see me talking about White Forest soon enough. Maybe next week, maybe not. Um, the only other deck that I am currently playing right now is Utopia, other or Onomats, as some people might know, which also comes from the anime. I'm playing that because I've played like Lunalight Utopia, and I thought that was like cool because it ends on a strong end board, which for the most part ends on like archetypal disruptions. And I think that's very cool. I like being able to not have to end on something super generic. Like the only thing that I use that's generic is like the Hope Harbinger. Um, but yeah, I think it's a cool type, and again, I really like Xyz summoning. So um, if I was to recommend somebody who liked Lunalight to like play other decks, I would probably say Hero is the first and main archetype I'd recommend to people. Um, I think the combo style is very similar to Lunalight. It doesn't similar to how Lunalight doesn't end on like a lot of different pieces on the board. Like Hero usually is ending on DPE, uh, Dark Lost setup, favorite contact for Shining Neos Man setup, and post support with the Max Hero stuff. They can end on the Contrast Hero Chaos. But there's not like so there's like a little bit of layers on the board, but I mean it's a floodgate deck, as we all historically know. The only other deck that I'd probably recommend, although I haven't personally played it myself, I probably would say Chimera. I think Chimera has a lot of fluidity in its different deck builds, different techs, and it ends on like a pretty strong board in itself if it gets going. And again, it's like a fusion-based archetype, but it can also end on like generic links and stuff like that, and has good layers to the end board. And I think it's a pretty like fair archetype, all things considered. If I had to play another deck from the anime, I'd have two choices. The first one would be Crystal Beast. Uh, One, because I think it plays very similarly to how pre-support Lunar did, which is abusing a lot of different engines to end on a very crazy board without having any locks. Um, the way that my deck history goes is my first two decks, like actual constructed decks, where the came from the Fire King structure deck and the Hero structure deck that had Dark Law in it. I think that's like Hero Strike or whatever. Those are the first two that I actually ever bought with my own money and actually like put time into. After that, I played Synchron and then Lunalight / White Forest. Uh, so yeah, for me, Crystal Beast, it seems like a deck with a lot of potential, with a lot of like really cool, strong cards. It just, for me, the main reason I don't play it personally, because it runs a lot of bricks. Like the fact that you need 7 different names just to summon your boss monster, I think is a little bit too crazy for me. I'm sorry, I can't do that. But I think watching Dread Guy play it is great. He's the best. The other archetype I would play is Phantom Knights, because Yuto is easily like one of the best characters from his respective anime. And Phantom Knights have like really cool designs. They're Xyz based, but also have a little bit of link plays through it. And I think it can also abuse a lot of generic like engines like Horus and Millennium to end on some cool boards as well. But yeah.
All right, I'll
I
go.
guess now you go. You go.
All right. So, besides my favorite, I do play Ancient Gear, and surprisingly from left field, Sulfur Cord. But I need to get back into the Ancient Gear. I like it because I just like the aesthetic of the just like old machines who just like to go second and hit really hard, which I want to say is probably like is a good deck. Maybe probably like the same vein as Tenpai now, like in terms of like strength. Going second decks are like not the best. For Soulful Cord, I just kind of needed a pen. Well, I wanted to play a pen deck, and that was the first one I looked at. And so there. But what would I recommend? Since I'm playing Photon, you could also play Tachyon, but they're pretty much one and the same. It's just really just slight variations. But for anything similar, can't really. You could play like Utopia, Onomats, because they're around the same vein, since they're both Xyz based, and they also like happen to flow all into each other because they all play like level 4s, except for Tachyon. They're more like level 8 based Dragon Xyz, so you can play with Photon. And if I had to play another deck from the anime, it would be Hero, which I have like experience with before. But I just like the overall aesthetic of Hero. And, well, you know, Ancient Gear already, but also Cyber Dragon, which all just happen to be from GX. Alright, sorry.
Okay. I guess I can go. So for the first question, I don't. I'm not really playing anything right now in terms of TCG. I'm only focusing on DDD right now. But in my 10 years of playing, I did play other decks. I played, for example, Sword Soul. I've played Rikasan Avalon. I've played Paleo Frogs. So I do have experience with other decks and also some success with other decks. But right now, I'm mainly focusing on post-do DDD because I'm pretty much gonna be like try hard in TCG every week again. So I'm very excited about that. And in terms of like what deck I would recommend that's similar to the deck, it's really hard to recommend something that's similar to DDD. I've seen past people. I've seen like people previously like compare it to like Ignister of all decks, because like if you actually compare how both decks go through their combos, they actually do use pretty much every summoning mechanic. But I wouldn't say like it's the same playstyle. If I really had to recommend like a deck that's not really similar, but to some extent it is, I would say like something like Draco Slayer. But again, it's really hard to like compare it to like something else because I don't feel like there's a deck like it. But if I had to like recommend something like that almost like feels similar to it, it would probably be like Ignister or maybe Draco Slayer. And if I had to play another deck from like the anime, there is multiple choices, like and a lot of them are from Arc V. In fact, all of them are from Arc V. My second choice would have to be like Gem Knights, and I just want to preface this by saying that a lot of these picks are because of aesthetics, because how I like how the decks look, because like I really like those stuff. Like I'm not really a person who's gonna pick up a deck because it's like good or bad or because it's competitive. I do like how Gem Knights like function. I do like the card quality. I like that it's actually legit viable going second, and it's actually seen success right now in MD. So I'm happy about that. Another deck I would play would be Phantom Knights, because everybody likes Yuto, and the deck is actually good and has been good at some point. And the third deck I would play would be Fluffles, because I always liked Fluffles. I feel like the deck could be good if they actually give it the right cards. Sora is my favorite deck from the show, from Argv, so these pretty much would be like the three decks I would play when I'm not on EDD.
Okay. Now it's my turn, I suppose. I've played a lot of decks in the past years, like as mentioned before, DDD, and especially a lot of Synchro DDD pre-Hulky 5 Rickspun. This was a lot of fun. Then I picked up Symphonic Warriors. It kinda resembles DDD in the playstyle. It does a lot of similar stuff. It cycles through basically all the summoning methods. But it's very bricky, and it has quite the unusual playstyle. It's incoherent, but it has the charm. It puts out those insane endboards that you can't break. It was funny to play it because you could play it very anti-meta like with. Back in the day, I think I played this with the Bankish Tira card, Diablo, something like Diablo, something like that. The Xyz card that banishes the card from the extra deck I used to banish Kid Kalos. Then I played a lot of TG recently. Like I've made some versions of TG with White Forest, with Snake Eyes. Performed actually quite well. Had a lot of fun with it. I would definitely recommend it, picking it up if you are like a 5Ds fan and Antinomy fan. It is in a decent spot, not the best, but it's playable, somewhat playable. Then Crystal Beasts, like mentioned before, Dread Guys make such cool videos. Then I was like, yeah, I want to try it out. There's a lot of fun combos, like stuff with Revolution Synchron, like stuff like that, where you go into Power Tool Dragon to search your 3 equips. Then of course with the Millennium stuff. And probably my latest pet deck is Centurion. I have like bunch of versions for them. I am currently playing Magistus Centurion. Spoon is an incredibly crazy card. If you don't Ash at the beginning, plays like 2 or 3 hand traps. Then of course like Fiendsmith Centurion, Bestial Centurion, White Forest Centurion. There are a bunch of stuff. Essentially, if a Synchro deck can access Synchro 8 or Synchro 12 for free, Centurion is a potential engine for it, or vice versa. And yeah, I would probably recommend as me. I also played a lot of Cristrons. Crystron Millennium to be specific.
You're lagging again.
Oh fuck! Sorry.
Okay, you're good.
Okay, no, nice. Yeah, I would recommend picking up Centurion because it's like quite good in this meta for both OCG and CG and Master Duel. Since Crystron's got a huge hit with Illusion, Inclusion 1 isn't very nice. Okay, wait, stop a bit. Okay. That's... Do I still lag? Do I still lagging?
I don't know. It's going in and out. But,
Okay, I might make it fast. Probably, if I had another army deck I would play, would probably be Qs and DDD. That's basically it.
all right. But that's really it. To be honest, there like. Again, I copied a lot of this off of Omni's stream. But yeah, I don't know if there's additional questions. I have been looking at the chat, but I guess I can look at the chat now. Oh, that's Edo Pro. But yeah, no, I mean, let me see. What were people asking in the... Okay. Tyler asked if we'd recommend our decks to new players. I probably wouldn't recommend Lunalight to a new player now. I think any deck. I think you have to have a good fun understanding of like rulings to make Lunalight work. I would not recommend it to a new player now.
I will recommend Tachyon, not Photon. That is the more difficult. Tachyon is just like pretty easy. You just drag Luxion, make 107, and then you're just kind of sitting on that. Plus transmigrations.
I would not recommend DDD right now to new. I mean, DDD was always like not player friendly, but right now it's like there's no spreadsheet right now. Like there's a reason why nobody released a spreadsheet yet, and it's because like the combos like take forever, and there's a million of them. So I wouldn't recommend it to a new player, but this is a deck that's gonna teach you good fundamentals about Yu-Gi-Oh! Pretty much everything that I know about the game is from this deck, rulings, interactions, and everything. So if you can like get somebody to test with you to actually learn the deck and then play it on your own, I think it will teach you like good fundamentals Yu-Gi-Oh! But in terms of like if you're starting on your own, I would say like pick something like Yami, something easier, and then if you're interested enough, you can like pick up DDDs.
Yeah, for Synchrons it's kind of awkward. Like again, the ban list screwed us completely over. The structure deck is okayish to pick up for new people, for new player to because it's very simple to pilot up to speeder. The combos are quite linear. You basically do the same all the time. But the problem comes if you start putting in more engines into it. How do the engines interact with Synchrons? So it's yes and no. It's easy. It's basically easy to learn, but hard to master if you put in more engines into it.
Yeah, when I think like easy anime deck, the first thing that comes to mind is probably Salad. It's probably Salamander.
Oh yes, yes.
Like the combo is like super linear, and there's not really, you end on like the same thing every time. And yeah, and I guess in the same vein, Marincess. Yeah, I think they're like almost like one in the same. Just one's water and one's fire.
The Rains archetypes.
Yeah. Literally link climb into a pseudo towers or into like a big boy and some hand traps. That's really it.
You think Blue Eyes will be easy for new players?
Oh yeah, I forgot Blue Eyes.
Yes, Blue Eyes is definitely
Yeah,
an easy deck.
yeah. Blue Eyes is a super easy deck.
Yeah, just play by Prime.
Yeah. Worst matchups. At least for me, it was Vanquish Soul. I hate the Vanquish Soul matchup, but now I don't think there's no matchup that I really diss. Oh, Malice. But with Malice being in a hospital bed now, I think I'm fine into most decks.
Yeah, for Synchrons it's like no, it's like every deck is bad for Synchrons because a proper negate on Junk Speeder stops the deck completely. So even an Ash could be game ender. But if it resolves, it has no particular issues against any deck because the main game plan is tent looping. Maybe Malice could be annoying, but you have still stuff to deal with it if you go first.
I would now want to play against Striker because that matchup has always been horrible. It's pretty much like a war zone when you play against Striker because like they have so much that they could break your boards with it. And now that they have like cards that they don't target, some of your stuff that you go into, like Bright Armageddon, that protects you from targeting, does not work on them. So it's pretty much like you have to draw them with a full board or it's going to be a grind game. And I really dislike going into grind games with Striker because they can sack you so many cards. Vanquish Soul is like nerf now, so I mean, I would have to test more against it, but I feel like the matchup is better now. but it would be like the matchup that I don't want to play against is striker.
The worst matchup, I maybe like, since Raizio was like meta for a time, anything that was like stopping Xyz floodgates. Like, I already showed I got like floodgated, which reduced my level, so I had to play around. So anything that floodgates for me from like over making Xyz play. But for meta deck, it would be probably like things like Yummy and Malice. Also, just Ash or Child are terrible. But as for Photon, it's not that bad because you still have like a billion extenders, so you can just keep going. But since Photon is more normal summon relying, they just kind of stopped that. It's kind of screwed over right there by most.
Yeah, I also don't like matchups where they actively do something with my graveyard. And I think the only matchups that really do that are Yummy, because they end on Herald, and Hero, because they end on Darklaw. I don't hate those matchups, but I hate Darklaw and I hate Herald specifically. Just because my deck basically doesn't function if I can't use my graveyard.
I guess I
Just-
can start with this question. I mean, like you all know, so DDD is pretty much like a free matchup for DD against Stun. And the funny thing about post DDD is that since people are cutting Orthros, it can actually be a hard matchup because like usually what you do is like you Orthros spam their back row and then like you deal with their monsters. But now since Orthros is only ran at one copy, it can like be problematic if they out the first your only copy of Orthros. But now we have like a new way to pop, which is like the new Zero Mechanics. So I'd say like against Stun, you still have your options, but you also have the Dark Contract traps. You have the Dark Contract with a Witch, which is a Raigeki break, which is like good against floodgates or any problem cards in general. And you also got the Dark Contract with Errors, which is a Royal Decree. So I'd say that, DD is still good against Stun, and I don't think that's ever going to change.
For dealing with Stun is the back row. Yeah, Galaxy Eyes has always historically had a bad matchup into back row. Your only like hidden way to deal with it would be getting to full armor and Cypher Blade, but that's already a challenge in itself. And your other way to destroy back row would be Galaxy Cyclone. But even then, that's not really played. And it's too. And both of its effects are good. The one in the graveyard and one on field. To pop a face down and then to banish it. Pop a face up. Speller. But that one is too slow. So you're just gonna have to kind of just deal with it and hope you can get there somehow. But going first against Stun is not. Because you'll often just transmigration away all like any of their attempts of floodgating you, or even if you try to solemn you in some way or form. But yeah,
my answer is pretty easy. It's draw, back row removal, or go first.
yeah, real.
Yeah, my deck also isn't really good into like back row heavy decks, so stuff like lab, stuff like actual stun, I don't do too well into.
For Synchronous, it kind of depends on the engine you choose to run. Like Adventure is quite good into stun and stuff like that. When going second, like the with Draco back, you just bounce back a skill drain or something like that. So it's quite an easy way to deal with it. If you're on stuff like Super Heavy Samurais, you could access Malong to again bounce something. But on its own, yeah, it's basically a go first, hand loop, and be happy that you win.
What? Okay, this I want to know just for curiosity. what is your guys' least favorite deck from the anime? If you have one.
I don't really have one. I don't know. There really hasn't been like a deck from the anime kind of like made me dislike it.
I would say Yubel.
Oh yeah, you know what? I guess.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. That's my answer too.
Yeah. I kind of. Oh, you.
I hate you, Bell.
Yeah,
I would
Yubel's
go with
like,
Dark World.
Oh, that's another good one. Oh, that's another good one, actually.
oh,
I
I
forgot
haven't
Dark World was
experienced
an
Dark
anime
World,
deck.
so
Oh no, Dark World. If it gets its wheel spinning, you're just gonna like. If you think Synchron is bad in any regards of just like comboing off once it gets going, Dark World will have you there for 20 minutes, and probably it hand riffs you. That's another problem as well, and it ends on a disgusting board after hand ripping you.
Yeah,
for
playing Solitaire bust.
Yeah, it's droll or bust.
Same with Mermaid, even though it's on anime. Wait.
Oh yeah, that's another deck I hate. I don't like Mermail at all.
is Mermaid an anime archetype?
No, it's not.
No, it's a lore archetype.
Oh yeah, that's from the Fire King lore.
Yeah. I think there's not. Yeah, and Super Heavy Samurai is definitely up there, but it didn't last long enough for me to like really hate it. And if I remember correctly, they like killed it in the TCG within like a week. Like they banned the Link 1 or whatever.
Yeah, and I can't really hate Super Heavy Samurai because I'm abusing it in my Synchron deck, so that's it.
Any advantage you guys have against certain strategies, like the best matchups you can. I don't know. I think Lunalite just plays well into most things. To be honest, like if I'm talking like if you told me like what's my best matchup out of like what's currently meta right now, it'd be Draco Tail. Just because most of their disruption is pretty easy to play around. I do agree with Taro that it is a matchup you should respect, especially if they're not playing Draco Tail pure, like K9 Draco Tail, branded Draco Tail, Dragon Maid Draco Tail. Like they can do like a lot of different things, and they can run a lot of non-engine. But if you're telling me to pick between Yummy, Vanquish Soul, Draco Tail, that sort of thing. Yeah, I'm choosing Draco Tail like every single time, and I'm just gonna ash the traps that I need to ash and push through the board.
For Synchrons, it used to be Tenpai. Like, if a deck allows you to go first, it's basically an auto win. If you, of course, don't break the Synchrons. That's also the case for Synchrons. But Tenpai was so free. I enjoyed it so much. They threw a Maxi at you, you deck out. It was such a great time. You hand loop them if they don't have enough disruption. This was like the best time I had with Synchrons.
I would say that currently, if you look at the meta, there is really no advantage DDD has over the decks. Because on paper, you are playing like a worse deck than them. But, you still have the potential to win because right now, again, DDD is in a great spot. But I'd say that DDD has surprisingly like good advantages over niche things like stun and back row decks. So things that you wouldn't expect a quote-unquote pendulum deck to have advantages over, DD actually has advantages over. It also has ways to deal with like floodgates. So in certain aspects, the deck has advantages over like cards like Mystic Minds, stuff like that can floodgate you because you have the options in deck to search for the outs instead of side and back row removal and all of that. So I'd say that currently you have no advantage over the decks that the meta right now, but you still have like the advantages over back row decks and stun. So I'd say that's how I'd answer the question.
Yeah, I feel like DDD has basically answer to everything. Like, I remember in Tenpai, this trap,
Yeah,
this one trap
Eternal
helped a lot
Darkness.
in the matchup. Yeah. And also
Yeah,
the field spell is also very good floodgate.
yeah, it's like DD is like a huge toolbox deck, but it's pure. It's not like any other deck. Like it does not like use like stuff like SP. Like every tool that you need is in the deck. You have like a Royal Decree that you can search. You have a Raigeki Break that you can search. You have a trap that says your opponent cannot exceed fusion or synchro if you have pens on your field. So you have searchable floodgates. You have a field spell that says if your opponent link summons or fusions or exceeds, they cannot special summon the same type. Like the deck has options for pretty much like a lot of ways to play the game, like stunning your opponent, like floodgates. So surprisingly, like not a lot of decks have that, and DD has that. So I'd say that you don't have advantages over other decks, but you have a lot of things that you could use to maybe gain advantage over those decks. Like for example, like Eternal Darkness, which is the floodgate that was good against Tenpai, it's actually good against Yami because they cannot use the link and the other monsters to synchro, because the Eternal says that they cannot use the materials on field to synchro summon. So the advantages, I would say, for DD comes in the engine, not against other decks. That's pretty much how I would describe it.
I would say the best matchup is one of the best matchups for Galaxy was Tenpai. It was so like incredibly easy to. You have 3 ways of stopping it. You could just like do. Well, first one is like hope your opponent doesn't read. Is make Photon Delta Wing, or normal Photon Delta Wing, summon the other from that, and then just pass if we get like max Seer. Because if you control like 2 at the same time, they cannot declare attacks. The other is your in-archetype battle, which is Photon Jumper. But at that point, you're hoping to banish the level 10, so you can make sure you don't just die. But that won't be the case most of the time because you're going to be making your rank 4s, which will protect you from like destruction and targeting. So if anything comes to that, you'll rely on Photon Jumper, and then you'll just outgrind them, because every turn you'll resummon Photon Dragon to keep picking away at their action. Alright.
Any board breakers you'd recommend? I don't know if anybody wants to start. I keep starting. So.
If you're playing Tachyon, I guess the best board breaker, well, in archetype, is 7 Ascension and the rank up magic. I already said it before, but C107's presence on the field could already be like a lot. Because if they don't destroy it or like banish it immediately, and the effect does get negated, you can overlay into full armor and then Cypher Blade. But it becomes like several times better if we have Transmigration in hand. Because that the threat alone, like it being aligned right away is already an active threat. Yeah. But
I would recommend heavy poly and super polys for like a side deck option, because heavy poly can pretty much cheat the new DDD, which is Arc Crisis, and you pay pretty much like 5,900 life points for it. And recently there are lists that have been using super poly as a way to like deal with canine monsters, like to pretty much use Lupus and what's the card called, Izuna, to summon Mud Dragon. So these cards have been tested in DDD in recent lists if you're like keeping up with OCG lists. So I'd say those are decent. It's decent enough that some lists are even maining them. Board breakers against the deck, historically Super Poly was always good against DDD, but Now there's a way to play around that by using the new mechanics to set Eternal face up on turn 1. So pretty much like your board is going to be protected from Super Poly and Sphere mode. And you also have to respect Dark Ruler No More and Droplets. Luckily, there are ways to set up your board to play around Droplet and Dark Ruler No More and Slayer, because what you do is that you do your combo and you end on a trap construct. And when they go Droplet or Dark Ruler, you just chain the trap and then chain Siegfried to negate the Ruler or Droplet. So now you have like an easy way to deal with stuff like Ruler and Droplet, and it's all part of the one-card combos. Like pretty much like every one-card combo can let you end on the full board plus a construct trap if you sequence it correctly, because because it's very easy to mess up your combos. So I'd say that the board breakers that you play are also good against you. So Super Poly, if you don't have Eternal up, is also gonna be bad for you, because they're gonna like use 2 monsters on your field to summon whatever they can, because it's all darks. So it's actually still good, despite the fact that you have a card that says you cannot Super Poly my board, but you're not always gonna end on that. So the same side that you use against your opponent is still gonna be good against you, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, then for Synchrons, if you are playing the big dragon approach, like ending on 6 big anime boss dragons, like Shooting Quasar, Cosmic Blazer and stuff like that, SMSD, then probably Dark Ruler No More deals with it quite well. But stuff like Droplet, it's quite easy to play around it, because Synchrons can easily get out Herald if needed. But if like the meta requires to play Dark Ruler No More, Synchrons of course has tools. Synchrons have tools to play around it with the Manadium guy that searches reframing to deal with it, but board breakers aren't really good at the Synchrons. It's better to hand trap them on their choke points, depending on what engine they play. Like Troll is quite good against the Super Heavy Samurai engine. Then Imperm on Diabellstar. Stuff like that. It's better to run more non-engine hand traps than board breakers against Synchrons.
If talking about Lunarlight, like the best board breakers you could run, I think there's really only one that I highly rate, and that's Droplet. Just because most times most decks don't really have an answer to Droplet. And you don't, and at least with the decks nowadays, you only really need to negate like 1 to 2 things, so you're not giving up a lot of cards to do it. I know there was like a whole thing during the World Championship when the guy was playing Book of Eclipse and everybody was like making a joke, because I've said on many occasions that I don't think Book of Eclipse is like the amazing end board, like amazing breaker, because most decks can still technically play around it or they can negate it. And you can also negate Book of Eclipse with Ash. But I think it's okay. I think it's better than like stuff like Dark Ruler No More, for sure. Like even like again for the example of like a Dark Ruler No More versus DDD, they usually have like Headhunt or Eternal or Witch setup, and if you want to go that approach, they'll just chain it. They'll chain the trap and then they'll chain Siegfried to it. So yeah, like even they even can negate Droplet. So unless you say something proper.
Even
but
I want to add one quick thing. Even without like the trap, like even if like Droplet resolved or Ruler, Headhunt sometimes can carry the game by itself, because I remember in Tempai they would like go Droplet for 3 and then they would normal Pydra, and I would use Headhunt to like steal the Pydra and negate it. So sometimes, Headhunt is actually an insurance policy, pre-dude when you get Dropleted. And even sometimes like Eternal by itself, like they still have to answer to the back row. It's not just the board.
Yeah, then Droplet is also not that strong until transmigration exists.
Yeah.
And plus,
You
it's
guys,
not like you won't lose to Duster or like any back row removal cards.
man has busted counter trap and can
Hey,
flex
I
it.
deserve it. My deck is pretty going through it right now.
Fair enough. I think yeah, I like Droplet's like my favorite like generic spell card. But I think genuinely the best board breakers that our deck has is kind of like similar to what Taro was saying. It's heavy poly and it's Lunalight Fusion, because at the end of the day, your goal is to land on Liger, and if you do that, you're winning more games than not. So yeah, I typically just go like the hand trap approach. I'm very fortunate that my deck can run Dominus Impulse comfortably, because that card is just like so good into the format, and it, I think gets better, because you're gonna see less K9, you're gonna see less VS, and when you do, you still have an answer for those cards. Also, Impulse versus the Vanquish Soul Trap card is busted. As for board breakers that are terrible versus my deck, I mean, the most common one that most people would resort to is the Kaiju, because the Kaiju gets rid of the Liger. But I actually don't think that's that bad. I think unless they hard drew the Kaiju, they're wasting like resources to get the Kaiju into their hand anyway. And at that point, um, you just I think you're fine. You still have Baguska. You might have another Liger, or you might, and you have SP, and then you have non-engine. At Nibiru, oh, Nibiru doesn't do anything versus my deck. My deck plays through Nibiru fine. I don't think
Um,
Nibiru, I don't think Nibiru does anything to any of our decks.
no, Nibiru's it's not that great right now.
Yeah, your beer might have more do more damage in Photon compared to. Yeah, you'll just make 107 under 5 summons and then rely on transfer.
Yeah, or like if Junk Speeder resolves, you have all your resources, you get nipped, you can just recover from it. Because
And
after he resolves, you can just go and stuff like Crystal Ring and you are safe from it.
I mean, literally every DD combo like is anti-nib. Like you can force it, you can respect it. Like it's not really the best hand trap against post-do DDD. The best hand trap for DD is for Wallace, and it's pretty much that.
I would
Yeah.
also like to add triple tactics talents for Tachyon specifically, because you can just activate it on your own without needing your opponent to do anything. So that's kind of like the broken thing about Primal.
I also do like Talents as well. I think it's just a generically good card. It like
Yeah.
can be a board breaker, but it could also just be like hand rip your opponent and end them on less consistent hand.
And then you know what's gonna come next, so you can
Yeah.
see it from
The
there.
hand knowledge is very good.
I just generally, even like with the other like actual relevant decks, I don't think Nibiru is that good. I don't run Nibiru at all.
Problem is Nibiru requires like a second hand trap or to function properly. Like a lot of decks either are prepared with, like for example at the moment in Master Duel with Apollousa, Malice just gets into it, then you are forced to have Veiler, Imperm, or Ghost Ogre to deal with that. The same is basically true for the TCG format. You have to let them play. Then you have to have a second hand trap that can stop their protection. To be nip very impactful.
As for your other question, I think we're all strong duelists. I've never actually faced anybody here seriously in a. Oh no, there was one time I did run into Zanza on ladder in Diamond, like
Yeah, I learned the
seasons,
hard way. I know.
seasons ago. But other
Yeah,
than that,
I learned the hard way. So
but yeah, other than that, like me and Taro have gone against each other, but it was more like a friendly sparring match just for content rather than like actual stakes.
yeah, unless we're all in tournament, we somehow face one each other. Then all bets are off from there, I guess.
And and to be honest with you, I really don't want to ever face anybody playing Synchron. I faced I faced Dueling Book Synchron in rated duels a while back. One was when I was on pure Lunalight, and the other was when I was on White Forest. He full comboed me when I was on Lunalight, and he indeed Omega hand looped me and set up his negates, and I was like, "Yep." So yeah,
I think play I played with against Grand Magus. Once he maxied me and I decked him out. He was on Heroes. And I think I faced Dueling Book Synchron once also.
I pretty much faced Dueling Book today, apparently. I mean, I don't know if it was really him. Like, he was called player. He had a decent following, but it wasn't really special. Like, I maxied him and he passed, and then I killed him on the next turn. Aside from that, I did face Amir one time, which was funny. It was like a long time ago. I also faced Andy, who was on Crystal Beast. And as Royal mentioned, we did have it was actually on on two videos. We did have a spar match, but it wasn't anything serious. So yeah.
Yeah,
I
the only
think-
people.
Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah, the only people I probably faced here was Royal and then Connie. I faced Connie. It was like Master 3. And I beat him.
I'm
But-
trying to think. Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah, because I was able to set up my full board, and then then I also have Backseat plus Ash behind it, which is kind of brutal. Yeah.
I think like out of like just relevant Yugi tubers or relevant like content creators that I've faced, I faced Pac like really early on when everybody was getting into Master Duel. He was on Adventure Prank Kids, and he messed up his combo at some point, so he shame scooped. So I can still technically say that I beat Pac TCG. A thing that I think some people know is that a big reason that I actually started making content is because, and I can link the video if I can find it. I actually faced Distant Coder in Diamond 2. It was when Diamond 1 was the highest rank. I faced him in either Diamond 2 or Diamond 3. He was on MathMech, and at the time I didn't have Underclock Taker in my deck, and I could have won the duel, but if I had Underclock Taker, but I did not. So he top decks. I think he either top decks another circular or diameter, and he full combos me, and I just lose because I only have Zeus and Leo Dancer, which doesn't do anything going.
Since we're on Pac, I just want to mention I didn't really play against him, but I did participate in like a tournament he hosted for MD. I think it was like in 2022. It was a 3v3 team tournament for MD, and I pretty much like top 16 with my team. It was, if I remember correctly, it was around when Tri-Brigade Zoo and Eldlish were the meta, and my team was like Tri-Brigade Zoo, Eldlish, and I was at the time playing Synchro DDD. So I pretty much was the sleeper deck that nobody expected. Drytron was also one of the best decks at the time. I think I used to. I think I have a screenshot of my deck list at the time, but I don't have it on me right now. But it was early in MT's existence. It was 4 months into the game, if I remember correctly. But that's pretty much like my experience with like any relevant Yugi tuber is that I participated in PAX tournament and I top 16 in it.
I think
Um,
biggest
y-
YouTuber I played against was Joshua Schmidt, like master, and he had no hand traps and Junk Speeder resolved here instantly scooped, so that's it for the game.
Yeah, I haven't run into any like maybe I don't know if you guys like know Nova. Maybe seen her on like MBT's channels.
Yeah,
Yeah, I faced her. We're also like friends.
you
Yeah,
also
but-
faced Hexlex.
Oh yeah, that's
Um,
right. I made like the comeback of the history.
Yeah, I think the only other one that I didn't mention is outside of Pack and Disencoder. He's not as popular, obviously, but Shadow Spectre. I know a lot of people know who he is. He's the Endymion one trick. I faced him in like mid diamond. He passed turned, and I was hoping to draw a starter. I did not. I bricked. I set Blackwing Zephyros the Elite and passed, and he full comboed me to death. So, yeah, that's it.
I faced like a couple of Japanese VTubers, but only one I could identify. The rest,
Oh, somebody sent me a photo, a video where I faced a Japanese Yugi tuber. He was on Striker, and he got full comboed as well.
oh yeah, I also faced Snow Keys. I would have won if I didn't get Dominus Post.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's fun facing facing people that you know are like good at the game or good at the decks that they play. Like, I like watching Taro play and do his duels and actually facing him are like two different things. I'm like, okay, I kind of have an idea of how these cards work, so I know what to disrupt. And he's like, nah, bro, I got pushes.
I mean, to be fair, like it is a hard knowledge check deck. Like I've been playing in the same locals for literally 10 years, and I know these people since like I was 17 years old, and they still don't know what my cards do to this day. They still ask me every time I activate something. So it's like this is like one of those decks that you probably you think that you know, but you actually don't know. It's like very knowledge check.
Yeah, that deck. And when I faced Andy on Crystal Beast for my video, I had no idea what to negate, especially because I was on Luna. I was playing a Lunalight pile that had Snake Eyes cards. So basically, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna end on Appaloosa and just monster negate him to death, and he still broke my board. And I was like, all right, I like, what am I supposed to do at that point?
Did you guys had any shame scoops like you mentioned before with Pack?
Like, where are
Or
we
what
shame
was your
scoop?
worst? Yeah. What was your worst shame scoop ever?
Damn, I can't like hasn't happened in recent time. It's been like a long time.
I would probably say my most recent shame scoop was versus JiGun, the guy who's recording our video. Is only he had I disrupted his combo. He's playing Gem Knights, and he sets Imperm, and I'm like, all right, I can combo through this. I didn't know it was Imperm at the time. But yeah, he disrupts with all the hand traps he has, and I'm like, all right, cool. I have the setup for Imperm if he has it as his face down, or if he has like Dominus Impulse or something. I just need one card to resolve. I think it was the Perfume Dancer to search my perfume. He flips Imperm. I misclick and hit no to activate the Hound to negate the Imperm. And basically, I end on Perfume Dancer pass. And I just shame scoop because I'm just like, yeah, I don't know what Gem Knights can do now that I have no disruption. So that's
I'd
probably
say
like my
that.
worst.
No, you go.
No, that's it. That's all I got.
I'd say most my shame scoops would come from MD Pro because every time I think I got that game, locked in, I don't because like I do like I press a button and it's in the exact opposite direction
Oh, yeah,
to MD.
yeah.
Oh yes. You can. I think you can switch the layout for that.
I mean, I don't know about that because like I just open the game and play and hope I can like finish the game because that game just does not like me. Every time I go in, I just cannot finish a game. I cannot get a game going. It freezes. It's just bad. Like Edo Pro is like, despite the shitty UI, it's like still goated. But in terms of like Master Duel, I wouldn't say like shame scoops, but if I am playing on tilt, it's gonna be a bad day because like this deck is very punishing and you don't really want to play on tilt. You also don't want to play this deck in real life in like the summer. I had horrible experiences playing this in TCG in the summer because like it's very hot and you have to actually think on your plays and it's just not a good experience. So I would say that I would only have shame scoops when I'm playing on tilt for the most part or when I'm playing MD Pro.
Oh yeah, speaking to like Master Duel, yeah. Since my deck is not the most consistent, I can open up 6 cards, and the 6 cards together don't do anything. So I just go like, and we go next, or you have to draw like the specific card to actually make your hand work, and you draw a worthless piece of trash, and you just have to scoop anyway.
And drawing into Galaxy.
For
Like
me,
the
it's
fact that-
probably like when Master Duel asks you, "Do you want to ash your own card?" Then you click yes on accidentally. Like, "Do you want to ash your junk speeder resolving now?" Yes, I want. Yes, I will do that.
I've never done
It's-
that.
That happened to me, I think, twice. I was like, "Oh fuck." The game was free. Then I had to ash myself.
That's your Meta Weekly list.
No, it's not Meta Weekly. This is the list that I topped in the 3v3
Oh,
tournament.
Pack. Oh, the
packs.
packs.
Oh yeah, Hulk was legal back then. Yeah.
Yeah, it was peak. It was actually peak. Like
Yeah.
Hulk into Satellite Warrior and Kali Yuga during the grind game. It was peak. Like this deck was so consistent. Like like D&D, like it's a synchro deck. I'm gonna be honest, it's a synchro deck. They should like if they ever gonna like do more support, like give it back, like slowly turn it into a synchro deck again, and I'll be the happiest man alive.
I think I played a very similar list. I think I think I copied something similar. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much like a standard synchro list. I mean, this was pretty much like around the time that Edlish and Tri Brigade Zoo and Drytron were the best decks. So,
Yeah.
and at the time, if you can't answer to Drytron, they're pretty much gonna FTK you. So, I had to be on the 3 nibs.
At least you get to play your deck in tournaments. I've only played Lunalight in one tournament, which was a random Meta Weekly. It was just when Mermail got its support, and I was just like, you can put me up against anything. I know in the early rounds, it's all jank decks. Just do not give me Mermail. My first opponent's on Mermail. He wins the coin. I somehow win game 1, and then he's just like, all right, go first game 2. I can't do anything because I didn't prepare for going first in game 2, so he beats me there. And game 3, yeah, he just sets up full board, and I'm like, all right, I can't do anything. Also,
like,
Dweller hard checks
No, you
my
go.
deck. Yeah, that's
No,
it.
no.
Just
The secret sauce is that you have to actually sign up 1 hour before it closes, because you should share. Like last time I played, it was like very random. Like it was like rogue. Like the first round was like Tristron, the second was Branded, and the third was like Pendulum Magician. And I signed up like 50 minutes before the event started. You have to like be sneaky about this stuff.
Unfortunately, I actually did one better. I signed up in the last 10 minutes. So I
Well,
was
that's
like,
just
that was just unlucky. I'm just like, I will do anything. Just do not give me Mermail. Because they will either hand rip me or they will end on Dweller. He did not hand rip me in game one. He did hand rip me in game three. So at that point, I was just not meant to win. I was not meant to go to the next round. But I do look forward to actually playing competitive tournaments, like post support.
well, I mean, somebody gotta represent.
Yeah, because the people who play my deck in tournaments have never turned out good. They always lose.
Since we are posting deck lists, I could start with the first Synchron list with the currently canine Synchrons. It's like very, kind of weird to figure out the proper ratios. Like canine is kind of like a semi 2-card combo deck, and it's kind of awkward if you draw Jokul and nothing else. So you actually want to be at close to 40 is possible, but Synchrons is a brick heavy deck, so you want to ideally be above 40 so you have a lesser chance of drawing your bricks. So it's kind of awkward, but it has a lot of potential in my opinion.
I just posted my Lunalite TCG deck list. I don't think it's anything crazy. The side is going to change heavily, though. Like, I don't think Lancia is good anymore. The only matchup it really hits is Crystron now and Rogue. And to be honest, they can still combo through. Crystron can still combo through Lancia. So it doesn't really matter.
Alright, I'll post mine in a moment.
I don't even know if it's going to be even good to keep Droll in the side, but I'll probably keep it for now. There's more decks that are affected by Droll than there are by Lancia. Well, yeah. That's another thing. I am not looking forward to. I really hope that they just keep doing Mitsu hybrid piles and just don't play pure Mitsurugi. I do not want to deal with Osu. Why your deck has a searchable kaiju in combo makes no sense to me.
I guess I'll post my list for reference right now. So this is what I'm on right now. This is probably not the list that I'm gonna play when I get the cards, which should be in 2 weeks from now. Because like I don't have impulses or FOA right now, but I probably am gonna try and get a playset of FOA, but probably not gonna get a playset of impulse. But I can probably carry on. But my list for TCG is probably gonna be way different than this because I'm gonna have to side for locals and the matchups I'm gonna play against, and I'm also gonna have to reorder what my ratios are gonna be, and also the side because I don't have access to heavy poly or thrust, so I'm gonna have to be a little bit creative with the budget options that I'm gonna have to look through when I'm going through my cards.
Yeah, the fact that there's only one printing of heavy poly is really bad.
I mean, yeah, but maybe they'll reprint it at some point. I can probably borrow some of the cards, but
Yeah.
Yeah, as you mentioned before, OCG played quite a bit of Super Poly in the main deck even. So you could probably replace it for Impulse, I think.
yeah, that's pretty much the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much the plan. I'm gonna give me a playset of Super Poly and the targets for it, and I'm gonna see how it works because I actually do like I did actually like that list, that top with the Super Poly. I find it to be actually good, so I'm probably gonna toy around with Super Poly.
Yeah. If anyone, I think that should be it in terms of questions. Whenever Zanza defines his deck list.
No, yeah, I'm just screenshotting all three from like Omega.
Is Omega just better than Edo Pro?
I mean, I have Edo Pro. Omega haven't, plus I haven't imported my decks.
That's the list I played on MD Pro recently for Synchrons.
Yeah, first one is Tachyon. The other two is Pure Photon Galaxy.
I forgot that Valor had an alt art. Yeah, this is actually so much better than their of OG. And he has the alt art Tachyon. Nice.
Yeah, I'm looking to get that IRL.
Yeah, the art of Takim looks so sick.
Yeah, I wish my deck had any relevant alt arts. Even for like just generically abusable cards. The only thing that I could use is the alt art poly with the hero cards, with the hero monsters. That is the best poly, by the way. That alt art is beautiful. But other than that, I can't use anything. There's, I mean, yeah, I could use alt art Ghost Spell, but I prefer the OG art for that. Yeah, everything else is just like. Oh, and if I could, I would use the original, the uncensored art of Baguska because it's
Yes,
it's
that's
fun.
so good.
It's so yeah, it's funny, Fat Man, funny.
Yeah, but the censored archetype is also quite cool.
I like
Sometimes
it.
Yeah, sometimes it makes a good job with the censorship.
Like for me, I don't actually like the alt arts of either Stardust or Black Rose. I actually prefer their original arts. But it's nice that they both have alt arts.
Oh yeah, they are okay, but they are. I think I prefer the OG Stardust in the end more. I tried to play a bit with it, but it didn't felt right. And for Black Rose, I think I prefer the alternative art for Black Rose.
I definitely for sure prefer the alt art of Diabell Star. That thing
Yeah,
is
well,
so.
yeah,
That
100%.
thing is so nice.
Yes.
And while none of us don't really like Labyrinth here, I do like the.
Oh yeah, I forgot you had a short stint of. I mean, you don't play
I
Labyrinth.
mean, that was release Labyrinth. I was playing with the Zar Trap because I thought that was pretty fun.
Of course you were. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the closest you've ever gotten to playing a meta deck, right?
Yeah. But that was like release Labyrinth before there's some.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, Tearlaments is the only like relevant meta deck I've ever like actually played. Like not like Luna tier, but just like tier. And I'm sorry. I know it's a hot take here, but I actually like playing tier. It's so fun.
Yeah, I was using Sharon as an
that's cool.
extender, the send jumper to the graveyard.
Bro, I would like tier format if the arguments for it were not obnoxious. Like, I'm not gonna get into it right now because we could be here for like extra 2 hours. But the arguments that people made when they played tier, zero tier, they were not good. Like, especially coming from people who used to say that they did not, or they never liked tier zero formats. But you know, tier, I'd say like it was like very, very ahead of its time, and it probably should not. They should not get their cards back. But my experience with tier would probably be like bad because like the arguments for tier in the tier format were like very very bad.
I also, yeah, I agree with you. I would never justify playing tier beyond it is fun. That is it. I will never be like, yeah, the board is cancer to deal with. It has so much push power going first and second. Can abuse just so many different things. Yeah, I would never justify like tier beyond it is just a fun deck to play. And I am very sad that I like one of my first decks being Fire King was terrible, like way back then. And when I stopped being interested in Fire King, they finally gave it support that was insanely good. And then it just relied on like using nasty Snake Eye cards, which I don't like at all.
Yeah, there was like a YCS with a and in battle with Mermail and Fire King.
Yeah, the one with like it recently happened, like Dinkabui winning with pure Fire King, which is base.
Yeah. So cool.
But yeah, but like when Fire King was like prominent, yeah, I didn't really like it. It was just like I had a soft spot for it because nostalgia, because I played it, but yeah. And I also like Zanza. I did have the Gear Giga structure deck.
Yeah,
But
I
I
still
never,
have it.
I don't know. The deck never clicked for me. I just like the what's the name of the trap card that they appear on?
The rock paper scissors one,
Yes, that's the best one. That's the best card.
and it has an animation too, which is actually
Yeah, I've seen the animation on YouTube, but I want to see it in game at least once.
It's a normal chapter, right? I think Labyrinth.
What is it called?
I do not know.
Is it? Oh, it can't be this. Is that it?
Yeah, Gear Gaia will always hold a special place in my heart.
Let's go! It's transmission gear. Let's go!
Oh, yeah.
I love that. These
Yes.
cards are so derpy. I love them, but the way the deck plays, it's so boring.
I wish they got support. Like, come on. I will hop back instantly on it.
At least you can play Sulfur Chords.
I mean, yeah, but like, Gear Gaia was like my first ever deck.
Yeah, the Sulfur Code support looks sick. It's actually quite very playable deck now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
if it-
yeah, that and DDD are like the most two prominent pen decks right now.
And it's weird to say that because like it literally took an entire decade to make DD into a pendulum deck.
It's crazy how they release like they can release like waves of shitty hero support. They looked at Sulfur Chord, which was a terrible archetype, gave it 3 cards and said, "You're now playable. Congrats."
It always feels like Hero are missing just one card to be good. Just one card that solves the problem.
I don't know, man.
I mean, look, somebody hates Hero at Konami. Like there's no other way around it. Like they give this support to like every shitty deck that ever existed, but like Hero, it's like every time like we get support. Well, we need another card. We just need this one searcher. We just need the super poly, the poly searcher. It's like, how about you fix the deck?
Yeah, that's another reason I dropped Hero. I couldn't constantly cope on like them giving me bad support and be like, they'll fix it the next time, surely.
The mask hero stuff is so close to be good. So it fixes some problems, but there's still some like the ceiling is sometimes quite lackluster if you don't play division hero stuff. It's cool that they got the Contrast hero now, but Nibiru, for example, is still the biggest problem for them.
I mean, it's cool that they actually made that the negate from like 10 years ago usable again.
Yeah.
But like, it still loses to draw. It's still like bad into nib. I mean, yeah, there are plays on the nib. There's always plays on the nib when you're like expecting it. But it like it's still like the perception of heroes. Like it's still like the deck loses to draw. it's still it's nib all the time. Like the support is fix some things, but like they still use the Vision Hero engine, which is something that hero players don't want to use anymore, but they still use it despite the fact that they got a poly searcher. And I really don't know why Konami does this, but maybe one day they'll actually give the support that they will give the deck the support that it deserves.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've proven many times before that they can fix archetypes if they wanted to. Like even Cyber Dragon, which was a laughing stock for most people, is playable. Also benefits from the fact that you can run K9 in it. But they can play they can make really good boards too, like post support.
It's pretty much like a sleeper deck right now. Nobody's actually talking about it, but it's I would say like it's a sleeper deck.
And I don't know why people don't I'm surprised there's no real content creators who play the deck. It's so cool. Infinity is one of the best, coolest looking Xyz monsters.
Yeah, I played it back in the day, pre-support.
Yeah. Also, I'm also running him in Crystons. Such a great card.
Yeah, I know the stream is tomorrow, but inclusion to 1 that kind of sucks.
Yes, this kills the deck. Or not, it doesn't kill it,
It
but
kills-
it makes it definitely worse.
Yeah, it makes variations that don't rely on K9 worse. So it's like Millennium, Horus.
Yeah, I was like, okay, cool. The time rules have changed. Now I can play Millennium without any hesitations. Next ban list, they put inclusion to 1, so basically not really good anymore.
I mean, to be honest, there was no reason for the hit. It was random. Like, the thing that I got from it is that they pretty much told you to buy K9. Because if you don't buy K9, well, your deck is gonna, be somewhat bad right now. So, the hit is not justifiable in my opinion, but, Konami is a company and they want you to buy K9.
Yeah. It's not the first time they hit the rogue deck, a rogue strategy, just so people buy new stuff like Original Sin was. This ban hit basically so many decks. It hit TG, it hit Rescue Ace, it hit Fire King.
I just want to say something that's probably going to be controversial, but I will die on this hill. The moon ban, it does not matter. It was way too late. Like ask yourself, who's actually using Fiendsmith right now?
Yes.
It was pretty much done to tell you to buy the new product. This hit would have been fine, I don't know, 4 months ago when everybody was on Fiendsmith. But right now, who's actually using Fiendsmith? They basically banned the vanilla Link 2. Yeah, it's absurd that every deck can bridge into Fiendsmith, but right now it's who uses Fiendsmith. Plus K9's it punishes Fiendsmith decks a lot. So it was another hit that pretty much said to you buy the new product, in my opinion. But I know a lot of people are happy about that ban. I'm not gonna tell you that it was a horrible ban, but it was a ban that should have happened I don't know 5 months ago.
They did the
Yes.
same thing with Curious, the Link 3 from Lightsworn. When Tier was relevant, they banned it way too late. Tier was already on the way out. I agree. I completely agree with you. I don't like the moon ban at all. You should have just done it months ago, but at this point nobody plays Fiendsmith, and the decks that abuse they can really abuse Fiendsmith aren't good, which is Yubel, Live Twin, Chimera. Nobody plays these decks like that.
Yeah, there's no incentive to play anything Fiendsmith right now. You have Yummy, you have Draco Tail, you have all these new decks, you have K9, you have Vanquish Soul. There is literally no incentive for you to go and buy a Fiendsmith core. I mean, maybe right now you have an incentive because they just brought back Lacrima, and Lacrima is still a good card, but I mean, I don't think that's gonna make people go and buy Fiendsmith cores.
I mean, I will buy a Fiendsmith core now because I want to play Hero Fiendsmith now.
I mean,
But
that's mostly for fun. I mean, I'm talking about like
yeah, yeah,
if you want to
that's
like
just
take a
fun,
deck to a YCS or regional.
yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm expecting 7 Tachyon to get hit in Master Duel. Surprisingly, not in TCG. It's still alive.
I think they will not hit Brazier. They have to hit Malice. Malice is like the bane of my existence. I really would prefer to play tier 0 format over Malice tier 0 format.
I agree. I rather play Tier versus than Malice. I fucking despise Malice.
Yeah. And I had the game yesterday. I um I imperm Dormouse, hoped okay that's it. Then I saved Ghost Ogre for the Appaloosa. They combo till the end. They had and then I nipped the whole board. And during my turn, they had their 2 Malice traps. They recovered everything. Of course, they dropped Maxi on me, but this I think didn't matter too much. They recovered everything, disrupted me like 5 times just from the recovery, and it was just like unplayable. You can interrupt them, but they just don't care. They're too resilient at this point.
Yeah, my only way to beat them is I could just search for
Lancia.
Lancia and pray.
Yeah.
You guys can run non-engine. Like,
I mean, search it.
that's my terror. I can't. My deck is so bad in Master Duel that I can't afford to go significantly over 40, but at the same time, I can't run a lot of non-engine at the. So it's just like, and my deck isn't consistent. So it's just like, yeah, like I just have to essentially watch them make their board or hope that Maxi resolves. Like,
Your time will come.
My time will come. It's very depressing to play Master Duel right now.
That's how I was pre-support.
Like, I think if they at least would semi-limit or just release the limit on Foolish Burial Goods, it'd be so much better to play. But they refused to do it. They unbanned King of the Swamp like months ago. But they refused to just do anything about Foolish Burial Goods. So at this point, I'm just gonna wait for my support, or I'm gonna wait for the White Forest support. But even then, with how close it is to Malice Tier 0 format, I'm not gonna even want to play that because White Forest has a terrible Malice matchup.
Well, since we're talking about like current MD format, it's at least from my testing, it didn't like feel like a tier 0 format. But you know, we're all gonna know post DC if it's actually a tier 0 format or not. But right now, if you look at my list, like I'm on 16 non-engine in 45, which worked fine for me. I went back to Impulse because like now Malice cannot. You need like Impulse and Lancia right now since they have the Ignister stuff. So I'd say that Ryzel is still like heavily played. So I really can't say or can't tell if it's like actually a tier 0 format or not because like people are still playing Ryzel, but it is miserable right now. I think it's a bit overblown. You know the reaction that Malice is like tier 0 right now. But again, we'll know if it's a tier 0 post DC or not.
Yeah, I'm running currently the before mentioned Magister Centurion version. It feels quite good, but it's still quite annoying. You just threw shit at Malice, hope it sticks, and then you can play.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna post my MD list. I'm not seriously playing it right now. But the Magician's cards look cool.
Yes, Spoon is just such an insane card. And to my surprise, Crowley, even though kind of semi-garnet, is surprisingly useful, especially going second, that you can, if you have a dead Lancia or something, that you save it and go into Mechaba to protect your place.
Actually, I'll just post the MD list.
Yeah, I could probably play 16 non-engine if I just remove the spell. But I like it for going. I don't know, I just like it way too much not to.
Hey, I got a heraldic card. Cool.
And drawing it is kind of high. Drawn into.
Where it is. But I think
I mean,
other
Lulu,
than
like,
that,
if you don't have Lancets, like, you go next game. Like, it's literally like you start first or you go next game. It's actually very miserable.
And you have to
Yeah.
hope they don't have back.
Yeah, and if you can Impulse, you have to play Impulse. Like, Impulse Lance is what you pretty much need to stop their Malice plays and their Ignister plays.
all right, but I think that is it. I will. It was fun hanging out, hearing Death Echo for the first time. He will. He's always using the AI in his videos. I'm just like, all right, brother, you gotta speak
Yeah, I
now.
mean, if you make something a guide, then an AI voice is probably better to understand.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I just started doing like voice content. Ara's been doing it for a while now.
I did one, and that was still my pretty terrible mic.
I did a few Twitch streams where I used my real voice, of course, like streamed 2 or 3 times, but that's basically it, where I used my voice for real.
JiGun, you're good to stop the recording if you want. Yeah, I